My friends, you feeling proud? You should. You should feel very proud. I'll tell you why. Well, this is Howard Riell, and the show is called Real Truth. That's one reason. Here's another reason we finally have a president we can be proud of. Cheering throngs in Poland have greeted Donald Trump. Here's the news item. This is from Grabian.com. The Polish crowd attending President Trump's speech in Warsaw repeatedly interrupted his remarks with chants of Donald Trump and USA, USA. At a wreath-laying ceremony in Krasinski Square, the excited crowd broke out into an American-style USA, USA, USA chant. Later, during Trump's prepared remarks, the crowd repeatedly interrupted the speech with a Donald Trump chant. The story of Poland is the story of a people who have never lost hope, who've never been broken, who have never ever forgotten who they are, Trump said in Warsaw, before the crowd began chanting his name, unquote. And so tell me, search your memories. You remember any time in the last 8-9 years when Barack Hussein Obama would go overseas and talk? Do you remember any of those crowds in any other country breaking into spontaneous pro-USA chants? I don't. I think there's a very good reason why I don't remember any, and probably why you don't remember any, is because it never, ever happened. People around the world knew that Barack Obama was a nothing. They knew he was a fake and a phony. They knew it when he won the Nobel Peace Prize 6 months after becoming president. They knew it because he was given the prize for being black. He was also the worst president in our lifetime. And so no, crowds around the world were not chanting USA, USA with the Democrat Barack Hussein Obama going there and apologizing to every Muslim he could find, but they are chanting USA now because they know we have a real, honest-to-goodness leader in the White House who's strong enough to represent the United States and by proxy the rest of the world, by strengthening NATO, by improving the American economy, by putting another emphasis on security that all nations are becoming aware of. There's a real leader in the White House. Thank God. What do you think they'd be chanting if Hillary Clinton had gone there as president? I don't know if they chant anything except maybe, possibly, lock her up. Lock her up. By the way, how come no one's locked her up yet? It's Thursday, and it's Real Truth. We'll be right back.
Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
The associates that your 24-hour walk not be able. No one anywhere is more noble, righteous, ethical, collectors than our United States Armed Forces. These brave men and women and their families put the bill for our freedom every day. Send a military care package today to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter, Highway 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they care.
If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you wouldn't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Barris Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Barris Survival, located at 3366 Broadway, professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Barris Survival.
All right, let's kick it in the pants. Let's get started. Okay, we're back. Howard Riell, Real Truth. Let's start with Bill Whittle. We're going to start with Bill Whittle, who's going to take his turn, as I have done all week. He's going to take his turn putting his leg up CNN's ass. Here we go.
You know, for decades now, almost a half century in fact, conservatives have been complaining about bias in the media. How much bias? Well, the 2013 survey showed that the number of journalists identifying as Republican was a whopping 7%. And about a year ago, they specifically polled White House correspondents. Now, this is the super elite pool. The 49 seats go to those with years of experience, extensive contacts, and, of course, top pay. In April of 2016, the number of White House correspondents who identified as Republican was 0%. So you're trying to tell me that there's no fake news trying to destroy Trump's legitimacy and undermining our democracy? I say bull. Hey, pardon the vulgarity, it's not my term, it's CNN's. Because that's what CNN producer John Bonifield called the Trump-Russia narrative that CNN has been promoting ever since they cried on camera the night that Donald Trump reminded them that the racists and savages in flyover country had had enough of their, bull. Now, actual journalist James O'Keefe and his Project Veritas caught Bonifield on hidden camera saying that the story about Trump's Russia connection is mostly bull, and that there is, in fact, an institutional witch hunt, that's the CNN producer's term, not mine, a witch hunt to destroy the president. CNN stands by our medical producer John Bonifield, a CNN spokesman said the next day in an email statement. Now, for CNN, standing by a producer means to insist that as a medical producer, he can't be expected to know what goes on in the political division, the poor dear. Bless his little heart. The CNN statement went on to say that diversity of personal opinion is what makes CNN strong. We welcome it and we embrace it. CNN. James O'Keefe got started with his 2009 expose of Acorn, and while O'Keefe and partner Hannah Giles did the hidden camera work, the rollout of those videos was executed by my late friend Andrew Breitbart. Andrew understood the media information complex better than anyone I ever knew, so here's what a Breitbart reveal looks like. Number 1, make the accusation. Number 2, wait for the denial. 3, provide the video evidence destroying their denial. Then wait for the special pleading. Now, in the CNN story, the special pleading is that, well, he's a medical producer. He's not a political producer, so his personal bias has no impact, and therefore we're not biased as an organization. 5, release a second video to destroy the special pleading argument. Now, today, as I write this, O'Keefe's released a second video of CNN's on-air political commentator and resident self-avowed Maoist communism fan, Van Jones, who describes the CNN effort to connect Trump with the Russians as a nothing burger. This is not coming from a medical producer. He's a top CNN analyst, and he says they all know it's a nothing burger. Now, if I were trying to prove a case of libel against CNN on behalf of the American people, I would have to accomplish 3 things. First, I'd have to show intent. I'd have to prove that not only was their coverage of President Trump false, I'd have to prove that they knew it was false when they ran it. Second, I'd have to prove malice, that they committed the falsehood in order to harm the president and his tens of millions of supporters. And finally, I'd have to prove harm. The libelous statements, known to be untrue when CNN made them, had to be driven by malice, but also had to actually harm the victim in a measurable way. Now, back in 2004, Evan Thomas, the assistant managing editor of Newsweek magazine, openly stated that in the 2004 election, press bias would be worth about 15 points at the polls. And that 15 points of bias was for John Kerry, not for the Messiah Obama or Madam President, which has, of course, been far more pronounced in terms of bias. Now, here's the final 2016 election map. If we take away 15 points of media bias, take it away from Hillary Clinton, then the 2016 election map goes from this to this. In other words, this is what the country would look like if the press bias were to disappear and the American people got not conservative news, but simply unspun, actual information rather than the tongue baths given to Democrats and the out-and-out lies told about Republicans. Here's the 2012 results. And then minus 15 points of media bias. And here we are again in 2008. Here's 2008 without those 15 points of bias. Do you feel harmed by this? I feel harmed by it. In order for people to govern themselves, those same people must have information upon which to base their votes. If that information is poisoned, then so is the voting, and therefore so is the country. So really, when you get right down to it, mainstream media's toxic politicizing of news is in fact...
It is, in fact, harming everyone. I'm going to take it right there because I had a discussion just yesterday. Just yesterday, my friends, with a guy who I know in New York who said, asked me, how has he been harmed by CNN? I said, you've got to be kidding me. He said, no, how have I been harmed? And so I laid it out for him in writing how he's been harmed. You want to know what his response was? There wasn't any. There wasn't any. Here's why. Every American, as Bill Whittle just showed, and I'll put this up on my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio, every American has been harmed by the media being sleazeballs, by the media being whores, by the media lying to us. 15 points, according to a media expert, 15 points in the presidential election would have given us 3 consecutive Republican presidents. All the damage that Barack Obama did to this country would never have happened except for the lying leftist media. So yeah, you're being harmed. Major league, and so are your children and grandchildren. And so are your bank accounts and your retirement accounts. You're being harmed by CNN and the other lying whores in the media. You know what? They're laughing at you and at me. Because they're getting away with it. That guy Zucker, the head of CNN, he's a multi-millionaire. He doesn't care about you or me. And he won't. Until we make him care. Until CNN has 3, maybe 4 people watching per night. Then he'll care. Then maybe we'll get some honest media and some honest government, some representative government. We'll never again be insulted with some piece of trash like Hillary Clinton being considered a viable presidential candidate. Let's take a break and we'll be back, my friends. More Real Truth ahead.
Now this is the testimony of John. And 3 Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who are you? He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, I am not the Messiah. And they asked him, what then? Are you Elijah? He said, I am not. Are you the prophet? And he answered, no. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19. United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 shipments were reported missing last year.
I hate technology.
58,000 were affected by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver is not only the best in town, but it's people who care. Give them a call, 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Thank them for doing a great job. Shop and realize their job is dangerous. Sometimes thanks. Really call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. The uniform people in Greeley.
All right, my friends, let me see. What am I going to give to you? Okay, I'll give you Ben Shapiro. He's also talking about CNN. He's saying CNN is lighting itself on fire. And he's right. Anybody got any marshmallows? Here's Ben Shapiro.
Just
And here's where I will take issue with Ben Shapiro. Yeah, the major media, the get Trump, destroy Trump media, they are a bad joke. They're laughing stocks and they're fools. Trump is doing a righteous job. He's working every day for like 19 or 20 hours, passing legislation, meeting with leaders, talking to the American people. He's doing a job. He's moving forward despite the noise. Go back to that video, the Bill Whittle video. 15 points in the presidential election just due to the lying media. What a different country America would be today if the media were honest. Just honest. As a journalist, it especially pisses me off because I'm ashamed to see what my profession has become. Item from CNSnews.com. Both the Congressional Budget Office and the White House Office of Management and Budget projected federal spending will top $4 trillion for the first time in fiscal 2017, which began on August 1st, 2016 and will end on September 30th. My friends, our federal government's going to spend $4 trillion. Let me see a show of hands. How many people want to see spending cut? Yeah, I don't see any hands. Item from the Daily Caller. A new study found adjustments made to global surface temperature readings by scientists in recent years, quote, are totally inconsistent with published and credible U.S. and other temperature data. Thus, it's impossible to conclude from the 3 published GAST data sets that recent years have been the warmest ever, despite current claims of record-setting warming, according to a study published June 27th by 2 scientists and a veteran statistician. The peer-reviewed study tried to validate current surface temperature data sets managed by NASA, NOAA, and the UK's Met Office, all of which make adjustments to raw thermometer readings. Skeptics of man-made global warming have criticized the adjustments. Climate scientists often apply adjustments to surface temperature thermometers to account for, quote, biases in the data. The new study doesn't question the adjustments themselves, but notes nearly all of them increase the warming trend, unquote. My friends, here it is in English. The whores aren't only in the media. Scientists depend on government money. Over the past 8 years, the government has wanted them to find man-made global warming. Just by coincidence, what have they found? Man-made global warming. Except when you compare their fraudulent findings to real objective science, honest science, it shows that those scientists who are taking government money are whores and liars. And it shows you that the fake religion of the left, global warming, is fake. It's idolatry. It's a scam. It's crap. Is the environment of the planet Earth changing? Of course it is. It's always in flux. It's always changing. And as you've heard on this show in the past, we are still in the last steps of leaving the last ice age. And so, yeah, the planet may well be warming slightly. It has nothing to do with you and me. Item from InfoWars. Pro-open borders activists George and Amal Clooney are planning to leave the United Kingdom because they don't feel safe after the recent spate of terror attacks, according to a family insider. The celebrity power couple have used their fame and fortune to push for open borders, even sat down with Angela Merkel herself of Germany to express their support for her refugee policy. But, my friends, when you're dealing with the wealthy elites, there's always a but, right? Usually the elite himself is the but. But now we got a but. But now it seems like all lovies, they don't actually mean they support it for themselves. So they'll be moving back to L.A. because according to a Clooney family insider, George doesn't, quote, feel like Amal and the twins are safe living in the English countryside, unquote, following the attacks in London and Manchester, neither of which are in the countryside, unquote. My friends, let me translate it into English for you, and I'm speaking on behalf of George and Amal Clooney. Here's what they would say to you if they were being honest. You are an idiot! You're worth nothing. And if you, or your wife, or your mother, or your children get shechted, butchered by some Muslim, or if they're firebombs, or if they're closing down streets, or if they're sexually mutilating girls, well, that's okay with the Clooneys because it doesn't affect them. But as soon as it begins to look like it might conceivably affect the Clooneys, well, you can still live with Muslim immigrants, but they're not going to. They're going to move someplace else. A great big house with lots of security. So, my friends, you can keep listening to the Hollywood elites if you wish. I mean, this is America. People are free to be as stupid as they want. But just know something. The millionaire, billionaire class, the Hollywood elites, the liberals, they don't care about you. They'll say they do, but actions speak a hell of a lot louder than words. The Clooneys want unlimited Muslim immigration. Well, Mrs. Clooney is a Muslim, you see. And to keep peace in the household, at least George Clooney has to say that, although he really is a liberal. And so, yeah, you and I will have to live with these unwashed masses coming from the barbaric third world, but they won't, because they're liberals. They're better than we are. So they don't have to do what they say. Only we have to do what they say. Do you get it yet? Item from the Daily Caller. The International Olympic Committee, in charge of making the rules for the 2018 Winter Olympic Games in South Korea, said there will be no sex or gender testing required for the upcoming games. Quote, with regard to hyperandrogenism in female athletes, there were no regulations in place at the Olympic Games in Rio in 2016, and there will be no regulations in place at the Olympic Winter Games, Pyeongchang, 2018, as we are still awaiting the resolution of the Duty Chan case, according to the IOC, International Olympic Committee, in June, in response to an inquiry into how it would regulate the upcoming Olympics. The response follows controversy that sparked after 800-meter South African runner Caster Semenya won gold at the 2016 Summer Olympics in Brazil. Semenya's intersex condition caused her to produce more testosterone than most women, prompting questions about whether she had an unfair biological advantage. These kind of people should not run with us, said Italian middle-distance runner Elisa Kuzma. For me, she's not a woman, she's a man, unquote. Well, my friends, we just had a story, was it yesterday or the day before? We now have birth certificates with a third gender option, undecided. U, big letter U, unknown, undecided. So now there are 3 genders. Aren't we living in incredible times? We're so fortunate. Now there are 3 genders, and so I guess the Olympics recognizes the third gender. Now, if you're out there saying to yourself, this is all craziness, it's sickness, it's repulsive, it's brainless, let me tell you, my friends, you're absolutely right. Item from the Associated Press. The Canadian government is going to apologize and give millions to a former Guantanamo Bay prisoner who pleaded guilty to killing a U.S. soldier in Afghanistan when he was 15. With Canada's Supreme Court later ruling that officials had interrogated him under, quote, oppressive circumstances. An official familiar with the deal said that Omar Khadr will receive $10.5 million. The official was not authorized to discuss the deal publicly before the announcement and spoke on condition of anonymity. The government and Khadr's lawyers negotiated the deal last month, unquote. So, my friends, this guy was working with the terrorists. He murdered an American soldier. Canada is not only giving this guy $10.5 million because while they were interrogating him, they kept him up late, but they also are going to issue an official apology. So the message that I'm receiving, at least, from Canada, is go ahead and kill anyone you want. As long as you're treated badly when you're ultimately arrested, you're in the chips. You're going to get the big bucks, and they'll apologize to you. My friends, I'll be brutally honest with you. Sometimes I wonder if the West should prevail. Certainly don't seem like we deserve it, does it? Let's take a commercial break. We'll be back with more Real Truth, my friends. Don't touch that dial.
R&R Supply Incorporated, Collins Mines, Every day, our troops demonstrate their dedication to our nation. Now is the time for us to return to hire our returning veterans. After investing their lives in our nation, they deserve our investment today. This message is from RNR Supply Incorporated in Fort Collins. They're on the air, reminding all of us that our freedom has never been free.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution.
You alluded to the blocker plan and remind our listeners that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be approached at early age. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from Elizabeth Blocker Plant, located at 366 Grand Street in Elizabeth, serving our areas since 1943 and specializing in naturalized beef, beef, and pork, and complete custom processing. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240. If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you wouldn't act and panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Ferris Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Ferris Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Ferris Survival.
The associates at your 24-hour walk no one anywhere is more noble, righteous, courageous than our United States Armed Forces. These brave men and women and their families put the bill for our freedom every day. And the military care message today to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and their help. This message is from the associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Ivy 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they care.
All right, guys, I left something out. I apologize. I mentioned all the things that Donald Trump is doing for us, despite the yammering coming from the media. I left one out. He's draining the swamp while nobody's looking. Don't believe me? Here's Rush Limbaugh. And by the way, like I said, my friends, we're about to hit a break. That's why I'm cutting. And Trump is doing things every single day, and the media's not telling us about it. Because if they told us about it, we'd say, wow, Trump's doing a great job, and they don't want that. So go to Trump's website. There they will tell you in black and white exactly what he's accomplishing every single day. And it's tremendous. It's tremendous. Item from The Sun. A parent who identifies as a non-binary trans person is demanding their baby is being given the world's first gender unknown birth certificate. I talked about this yesterday. Another tragedy in the making. We'll take a break. We'll be back.
I'm here with the DuPont Pioneer team. So tell us, what are you bringing to the table to help producers manage feed costs?
Feed management is always on a producer's mind.
It sure is. So take a whole operation approach to help them maximize value.
By combining the right products with our expertise and services, we can help producers improve profitability.
It's big picture thinking for big time production. So work with your DuPont Pioneer team to get the most out of every bite. Pioneer, with you from the word go.
He was in the world was made through him. The world did not know. He came to his own, and his own did not receive him. But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 10 through 13. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network.
Thank them for doing a great job. Shop and rich families realize their job is dangerous, sometimes bad. Really call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. Focus the uniform people in Greeley.
My friends, I found a brand new hero for you. You've heard her on the show a couple of times from Rebel Media, Faith Goldie. She's talking about, well, she's going to use the C word, so hold on to yourselves.
back on.
All right, thanks. My friends, go to my Facebook page. I will post this. Faith Goldie at the Rebel Live. It's Crusade O'Clock. That's the headline. Everything she's saying is right, my friends. Everything she's saying is right. We are in a war for survival with Islam, and we're not fighting. Item from InfoWars, with Illinois, which on Saturday morning entered its third fiscal year without a budget, facing a catastrophic downgrade, late on Sunday evening, the Illinois House approved the most controversial element of a budget package, a tax hike, which will increase the income tax rate by 32%. My friends, that's all liberals know how to do, tax and spend. That's why when they govern, it's like rat poison. We'll take a break.
Do not believe in the spirit, but test the spirit, whether they are God, because many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, which you have already heard was coming, and is now already in the world. 1 John 4:1.
No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debt, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo. Elizabeth Walker Planet reminds us that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be approached at early age. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from Elizabeth Walker Plant, located at 366 Grand Street in Elizabeth, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalized beef and pork and complete custom process. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240.
My friends, the broadcast week is just about over. Let's squeeze in a little bit more news. Item from Breitbart. An app has been launched in Paris, France, which warns people if they are in a no-go zone and gives live alerts telling users if they are at risk of sexual assault. Designers of the app say it can be used to, quote, report, locate, and avoid hazardous locations around you and elsewhere, unquote, and has already gained positive review ratings. The app allows users to report assaults, theft, sexual molestation, and rudeness in the capital city, which has seen illegal migrants camping on the streets and near metro stations. Parisian women have complained that they face constant harassment from migrants in certain parts of the city. Women in East Paris district of Chapelle-Pajol claim they cannot leave their homes without receiving verbal abuse from migrants and drug dealers who have flooded to the area, unquote. So, my friends, let's extend this a little. Let's say that it's now your city. Let's say there are sections of your city that you simply can't walk down. You now need an app to tell you which streets are safe and which aren't. And every night your wife comes home or your daughter comes home from school and they say, you know, I can't go outside without being called a this and a that and a this and a that from those Muslims. You okay with that, guys? Are you fine with that? You want to have to consult an app every time you walk out of your home? I wouldn't either. So what do we do about it? Obviously, we prevent Muslims from coming here, and the ones who are here, we give the heave-ho. Short of that, we'll soon be using an app like that. Item from Breitbart. Samsung is set to open a $380 million home appliance manufacturing plant in South Carolina, expecting to generate nearly 1,000 jobs by the year 2020. The company, which is based in South Korea, reportedly made the decision following the election of President Donald Trump, after worries about protectionist policies allegedly put pressure on global companies to generate jobs in the country, unquote. My friends, join me all together now. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, President Trump. Item from the Telegraph. 1/5 of male fish are now transgender because of chemicals from the contraceptive pills being flushed down household drains, according to a study. Unquote. My friends, here's my question. If the fish are transgender, do we have to build them their own bathrooms? Item from France 24. The rodent-borne bubonic plague may seem unappetizing, but for a few San Francisco visionaries, it proved just the inspiration needed to launch one of the city's latest eateries called the Rat Cafe. The pop-up cafe, which opened last Saturday, offers visitors a chance to munch on a breakfast of pastries, coffee, and tea, and enjoy a bit of playtime with a small handful of rats. My friends, for those of you like myself who are hoping and praying that California will secede from the Union, here's San Francisco, California. We can go to this restaurant and play with rats. That's how normal they are in San Francisco. That's how normal they are in California. That's how bad a fit California is with the rest of the country, and that's why I'm hoping they will secede. California is the perfect picture of what liberalism leads to. The demented excesses. Look at California. If you want to go there, go for a visit. Maybe you can hold a rat while you eat lunch. Thank you, but I choose not to. I'd rather stay here on planet Earth. All right, guys, I'm all out of news, and we're all out of time. I will be back on Monday with more Real Truth. I trust that you will be here. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, stay angry.